And hello, and thank you, and welcome back to another episode of Skill Building Sunday here with me, Jason Leeser, live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. And this is a live stream started December 10th at 1 p.m. I am your host, Jason Leeser. And if this is working for you, please let me know. Drop a comment, hit that like button. Give me something that lets me know I'm not just talking to dead air. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo in both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, our Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which has 12 to 15 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as all of the major podcast directories such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just search for Reinventing the Tattoo in your browser, and you'll find it all except for the book, which is still currently out of print. But no matter where you were watching live or on demand, you can always get the latest, most up to date information, all available at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. You can try it out for free. You don't have to get a subscription right away. We have one of three options you can choose from, such as a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon, or you can get some free advice from Guy Aitchison about your unique goals and goal setting, or you can take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. If you're a fellow tattoo history nerd such as myself, I cannot stress enough that that history course is absolutely fantastic. You will 100% guaranteed to love it. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details, as well as access to our Reinventing 24/7 channel, which is a lot like our Roku channel. It's got 13 different episodes playing at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as a host of over 20 professional development courses that you can purchase and watch and stream live and on demand from over 20 world class tattoo artists. These seminars include things such as BJ Bett's lettering seminar, Bob Tyrell's skull seminar. Andre Malcolm has a whole koi half sleeve seminar that's available on there for purchase. Once again, if this is working for you, please drop a comment, write me in the chat, hit that like button, let me know. And please tag a friend who loves tattoos. Maybe it's someone that wants to become a tattoo artist, or maybe it's someone that's, just a tattoo enthusiast or a collector. Tag them all. Tag everyone you know. We're trying to get that word out. We have a number of weekly staple shows we always encourage people to tune into, starting off on Sundays at 1 p.m. with me, Jason Leeser, and the Skill Building Sunday Drawing Group. And that's followed on Mondays with two separate shows. The first is at 9 a.m., Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom, where we go through and we discuss basic drawing techniques and strategies, different elements of fine art that can really help us reinforce a lot of the stuff that we learn in the Reinventing the Tattoo canon and help us get back to our roots of being a fine artist. That's followed Monday evenings at 9 p.m. with a subscribers exclusive drawing group for the Reinventing the Tattoo subscribers. And this is only available if you have a Reinventing the Tattoo canon or Reinventing the Tattoo Evolution subscription. And that takes place at 9 p.m. and is hosted by Sandy McAndrew from the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. Following that, on Tuesdays at 11 a.m., we have the Tattoo Weekly Show with Gabe Ripley, Lauren Gregory, and Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network, where we go through and we discuss current events in the tattoo industry, any kind of relevant tattoo news or information that may come about, such as these laws being passed with MOCRA and how that may impact the pigments that we use. That and a whole lot more is discussed on the Tattoo Weekly, and that's 11 a.m. Tuesdays. Following that, on Wednesdays at 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, where we do a deeper dive into the business aspect behind tattooing. We get into marketing and advertising strategies. We start looking at international travel visas, ways to really help us achieve that business persona so that we can all make more money. Because who doesn't like making money? Following that, on Thursdays at 6 p.m., we have the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast with Fawn Baker. And that is a great place to go to share some of our stories about how we've collected our tattoos, and uh, lots of various other topics get discussed as well. Highly recommend you tune into that. That's Thursdays at 6 p.m. I would like to go through and thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping everything updated. As we know, living in this post pandemic era, there are still certain tattoo events and conventions that are getting rescheduled like crazy. So if you want the latest, most up to date convention information coming to a city or town near you, or maybe it's one you plan on visiting, that's how I base most of my vacations, take a look at worldtattooevents.com. Would also like to thank tattoonow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattooers of all levels. They're constantly keeping everything upgraded and updated, and they are 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you really want to get the digital tools to help you get more people through the door that want to get the kind of work that you really want to do, take a look at tattoonow.com. As always, this would not be Reinventing the Tattoo without a very personal and professional thank you to Guy Aitchison at guyaitchison.com. He is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. And you can go to guyaitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his biomech encyclopedias, some of his custom DVDs, tutorial DVDs, some of his custom coil machines, countless fine art paintings and fine art prints, all available at guyaitchison.com. Would also like to go through and say a very special thank you and shout out to the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols, the #1 resource for tattoo apprentices and apprentice hopefuls. If you want to become a tattoo artist and you want to do it the right way and get an apprenticeship, take a look at the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols, and it will fill you in on all of the relevant information that you could ever possibly want to know about becoming a tattoo apprentice. As always, we ask that if you like today's show, go through, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. That way you stay up to date with all of the new shows coming up. We ask that you post a positive review on the channel, help us get the word out. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, you can always email management at reinventingthetattoo.com. And I believe I am good. Cool. Awesome. We have a very special show for everyone today. We are doing a International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention recap, and I'm very honored and very privileged to say that we have the founder and CEO of Sparkov Entertainment with us, Jafet Santiago. How's it going?
All good, man. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, man. Awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Nice to be in your platform, and you're a beast, bro. You're like a yeah, man. Awesome.
We do what we can now. Um, there you are. Wonderful. Welcome, welcome. And thank you. It's such a privilege to have you on here. I've been a personal huge fan of the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention for a very long time. I think everyone that I know in this industry about it, and about how awesome it is. And, I talk it up because I absolutely fell in love with the Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention. And it's an honor for me to have you on here to talk about that a little bit more. But let's start off. Let's go through. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long have you been an entrepreneur? And let's dive into a little bit a little bit more of that.
For sure, bro. I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born on the west side of the island, which is in Maya West, but I was raised in Cabo Rojo. It's the south west town. It's all about the beach there. Like probably the biggest town with the most square feet miles of beach in the island. So that's where I come from. That's where I grew up. But half of my life I've been in San Juan, the capital. That you've been here a couple of times. Um, I started here telecommunications in Sagrado Corazon, which is like the top college for media and entertainment industry. So I studied here, and then I just moved here to San Juan, and I've been basically I made my career here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. On that end, like where do I live? I live in Santurce right now, which is at the heart of San Juan. It's like think about the hood in San Juan. So that's where I live. And yeah, life has been great to me. I'm very just happy to do what I love, and to be able to provide for my family, serving people, and doing what I love.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you are the president and CEO of Spark Off Entertainment, which puts on the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention every year.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about your company and what you guys do, and what that's about and what that's like. Because I know you guys are involved in a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, our company is specialized in four business segments. Basically, we in the live sector we produce and promote shows for our proprietary shows, which International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention is one of them. We also produce probably one of the most iconic summer festivals in Puerto Rico, alongside in partnership with one of the biggest media radio stations in Puerto Rico, which is the Mojanola. And we also produce shows for artists that are touring, and they hire us to produce shows. So that's one of the divisions that are of our company, like the live event sector. We serve that area of the industry. Due to pandemic, we start doing podcasts. So now we own a podcast studio in San Juan. I started a podcast in 2020, which is called in Spanish is el negocio del entretenimiento, which means the entertainment business. So I started talking to a lot of my friends from the record labels, because we were partners with Universal Music for 4 or 5 years, and we've been involved with a lot of the music sector. We manage artists, we've been agents of a lot of artists, Prince Royce, the Puerto Rico Idol project, alongside with 19 Entertainment, Fremantle Media. So we've been always into music, some in some kind of way. It could be managing or being executive producers of record label for Universal Music. So we've been into music. So we started this podcast, and it suddenly, for the past 2 years, it's been in the top 10 worldwide in the business news sector. But obviously, I'm focused on the entertainment side of the business, of the industry. So it's been crazy. Now I can't stop doing it, even though I don't like to. I didn't like to be on camera, but I start talking to my friends. But my friends are not the typical friends of everybody. Let's say people who Gustavo Lopez, a band music group, Thomas Cookman from National Records, or the LAMC, Sergio George, the producer of Mark Anthony, Jennifer Lopez, and a lot of big Daddy Yankee. So those are my people that I do business with, and start talking to them in this podcast to share the knowledge, share their experiences, how they started their business, and it blew. So we started producing all the podcasts, and now I own a studio, and we produce a lot of things over there. So that's the second part of our business right now. The third part is also in pandemic. We decided not to put all the eggs in one basket, because even though podcasting was the biggest trend in media in terms of growth and investment, we want to take a different approach, and add something to differentiate what we're doing and offering our audience. And we decided to go for a digital magazine, in which we translate into Spanish a lot of the biggest and most important business news in entertainment and media. So that's what Spark of Magazine is, and it's a digital magazine. So that's another thing. That's it's an avenue of business that we have, and the fourth is we manage artists and talents as I mentioned before. So today we're managing probably the biggest and most important kids content production studio, which also tours and do live shows, which is called Atención Atención. 27 Emmys on their belt, one Grammy nomination. It's quite, like a big thing, and we manage them, and we also work in all the business aspect of that area. So that's basically like in a summary what we do. We produce many things, but that gives you like in a nutshell what we do as a company.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's way more than what I originally thought you guys were into.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that's impressive to say the least. When
A
do
lot
you
of work,
sleep? Like that's yeah, when do you sleep?
man.
Like
I have
you're
to
averaging what, 3 hours a night, if that? I mean,
think,
come on, man. That's a lot.
after pandemic, I have to be honest. Like since we were not able to do shows and not being able to do tours and anything, I was like, what I'm gonna do? Like I cannot lose all my past 18 years of experience. I cannot lose that. So I decided to start sharing knowledge, and I've always been behind the scenes. I don't like to be on the spotlight. I think my work or our brands do the work, but I also understand that people need to 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 meet, or they need to at least understand better the business, and there's no many people sharing knowledge. So because everybody's like behind it, they don't want to, because they don't want any competition, and I believe the total opposite. I think if many people understand how this is done, the bar is going to raise and everybody's going to be better, and we all are going to be better. So I started doing it, and it helped me in terms of, I have three girls, as you know. um, what I did is what it helped me was to be a better, um, like I was more focused into things. I started saying no to a lot of things that took me time, and I became a better person and manager of my time. So that's the best thing that all this, doing all these things helped me grow. I grew a lot. I invest time with my girls. I spend time with them, and I also was able. I've been able to do all these other things, and I become a better delegator. I was like a kind of a perfectionist of things, and at some point, if you want to grow, you have to be willing to delegate and trust. At the beginning of my career, I was, if something wasn't running the way I have it in my mind, I just say, okay, don't worry, I'll do it, and I'll make it happen the way I have it. But at the same time, I couldn't grow because I was just in a day to day doing that kind of things. So I start working on myself and trying to be a better manager, even though I'm an entrepreneur, because I'm always thinking long term. But at the same time, I decided to become a better manager. Become listening more and understanding that not everybody have my experience, and I make decisions based on my life event experience, my manager experience, my business side. So when I make a decision, I have all these elements in my head, and I can be able to probably be fast, but not everybody has been in my shoes. So you have to learn and be patient, and teach people to be better, and also I became better at explaining what I want. So that's been my past 3-4 years, as a personal, as my personal goals.
Right on, right on. Now, what inspired you? What was your motivation for starting up the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention?
It's been. I'm gonna be honest. Like this is how it all happened. Y'all see, and another person who is called Joel, who's a tattoo shop owner in Caguas, Puerto Rico. They both approached me. This was probably in 2015, and they both told me that they have this idea. I mean, they knew probably Joel more. Jalsi is always traveling, but Joel knew who I was and who my company, what my company does. So they came to me with this idea of doing this convention. Um, but obviously they don't know how to do it, and they didn't know how to put everything together. They knew the artist, mostly Yalsi. They knew they knew how it all works, and what where the best conventions are in the globe. So they came to me and I said, okay, our business model typically goes, I look at it as an investment. And this is very
Right.
important for you to understand and your audience. When I look at businesses, I look at every event as a brand and as a business on its own. And I look at them as how long is this? Can I be number one, the leader in the market? And second, how long can I be the leader on the market? Just like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, the way they look at investments in Berkshire Hathaway. So I try to take that I've learned into my own investments and my own businesses. So I said, okay, these people, they know everybody. I know I can bring a lot to the table based on my background. And I think there's no, the competition for us in the market in Puerto Rico is going to be far away before catching us. And I think we're going to have a competitive advantage for a long period of time. So I say, okay, let's do it, but these are my conditions. Let me work what I know. You guys work all the artists and all the aspects. And at the beginning, I'm not gonna be a liar to you. It was very hard for us to just click because for me it was like ABC, but for them, they were not used to what it takes to produce a show like this. The complexes, the P&Ls, the advertising, the proposals, the media, the marketing, the PR, they were not used to it. So whenever I try to explain, I have to go like think about baby steps once again. After 15 years, 16 years doing this, which I was way ahead in terms of the production side, and they were learning. So it took us a lot of time because for what was normal for us as a company was totally new for them. So they didn't get it. They didn't understand why we were spending XYZ amount of money in this because they were like, everybody will come. It's like, no, everybody will not come. We have to
Right.
promote this. We have
Yeah,
to,
you have to.
we have
You
to.
ab I have been to shows in some places, man, and talking to local people, and they were like, "Oh, really? That's going on?" It's like, yeah, how are you not aware of this? Like, did they? And it turns out that it was a lack of promotion, it was a
Yeah,
lack of advertising. No one was getting the word out. No one had any idea about
yeah,
that. And that's got to be a key thing, man.
it is, man.
Um,
It is.
you know, I
That's
I
those
I
are hard.
definitely say what you're doing is top notch. I've been to a lot of shows around the world, man, and like Puerto Rico is not only one of my favorite shows to go to because of the environment, but it's so well organized and it's just so well put on
Yeah, man.
that
Yeah.
it's hard to not have a good time there.
Yeah, that was part of our goal. Our goal, we knew from the beginning that we were not going to be the biggest tattoo convention. We're an island, and we know that. We knew who were like, for example, the Gods of Ink and those big conventions. That if we want to be like a player in a global scale, we have to bring something different and something new to the table for for us to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we decided to, obviously Puerto Rico helps a lot. The island by itself, the vibe, the people, the food, the weather in December is 82 degrees. The water is 80 degrees, and we try to use all those elements in our favor to bring the best people that we could. As you know, we have like top notch talents in Puerto Rico that they come because because they feel like they are I don't know how to say, like the camaraderie between the artists here and the family type of environment that we have is second to none. And I have to be honest, I've talked to many of the artists that have come and visited us for the past 5 years, and they all agree on one thing. Like they all say that, man, like when we come to Puerto Rico, we feel like it's a big family, and
Yeah.
that's the way you guys treat us, and that was the purpose of it. Like we just want the community, the culture, and we just want to nurture the culture of the art and globally, and we just want people from Europe to be open to talk to people from the East Coast in US, or people from Canada, and we just want even the way we put all the booths together and how we do it. It's because we want to mix everybody. We want
Right.
everybody to have like let's call it like this huge name out right there in their booth, like two three booth behind or side to them. Um, and that's what we want to do. And I think we've been successful at doing it. We know we have a lot of things to improve, but it's been a process of all of us understanding how it works, what works and what doesn't work. Because in an island, you have to bring the people, not just the tattoo artists, but you have to bring people that fly to get a tattoo with some people, and it's complicated. It's not that easy. Then you have
Right.
to deal with hotel rooms or Airbnbs, Uber, transportation. And Puerto Rico is a very vibrant city, and actually San Juan, for example, that this past convention, we have Daddy Yankee with 5 shows, like 10 minutes away from the convention. We have Pedro Capo, which is a huge artist, like in the same district at the Coca-Cola Music Hall. Across then you have like another show of a big comedian, and everything that was happening this weekend. So in an island, you feel that,
Yeah.
we don't have the same footprint like New York or Philly where you are, or Europe, because they have a lot of people, a lot of people there. So those are the things that we have to overcome and we have to think of when we put this show together. And when they approach us, we just wanted to create the best experience for the artist, and we want to provide them with the best. I don't know how to call it. Like if we wanted for them, for every artist that comes to our convention, to think of Puerto Rico and our convention anytime they're scheduling their touring of conventions. You know what I'm saying? That's
I think you've succeeded in that. Just from some of the people that I know that were attending this year, not just people that I knew before the show, but people that I met at the show. Just asking people like, "Oh yeah, are you planning on coming back next year?" Every single person I talked to, without a hesitation or without a doubt, immediately said, "Absolutely, there's no way I'm going to miss this next year."
yeah.
And you've done that. You've fostered that kind of community, that family element
Hmm.
to this industry, which you don't get that at a whole lot of conventions.
Yeah.
I can count on one hand the number of shows that you might encounter that. But
Hmm.
even if you do, it's usually only small groups.
Yeah.
But at this show, it was like everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
I was working 4 booths away from Steve Butcher. Like,
Imagine.
I
Yeah.
mean, you want to talk about one of the most talented tattoo artists out there today.
Yeah.
I mean, I was right across the aisle from the Tex family and from Fibs. Like that's,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, wait a second, what? Like how, and I don't think the work that I do is like, quite on that level, but still it's like, everyone was getting along. I could go up and talk to Steve and ask Steve Butcher questions and watch him work for a little bit.
Yeah.
I could turn around and I could go and watch James Tex knock out, a guy's entire thigh in a few hours. And how are you doing this? You
Yeah.
know? But you fostered that culture and that community, that solidarity between all of these artists,
Uh-huh.
where it's turned into this family, and that's not something you come across
Correct.
hardly ever. A lot of shows that I go to, it's like, cool, we're here to make money. Like, yeah, hey, how's it going? Like, it's like, oh, what, I might be working on a tattoo. Someone might come up and, ask me questions. Me being me, I'm like, oh yeah, pull up a chair, sit down, it's cool. But you get a lot of artists at a lot of other shows, and they're like, no, don't look at what I'm doing. Don't,
Yeah.
this is my work, my secrets.
Yeah.
You don't get that in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is very open,
Very open.
very ask questions, hang out with people. Some of the artists that I admire the most were there, and it's like I can go up and talk with them and invite them out for dinner and drinks later on. I put on, so this was kind of an impromptu thing that I did, but the first night, before the show even opened, before the opening party and all that stuff, I hit up a couple of people, and that I knew were coming down for it, and I said, hey, let's get together and do a group dinner. My friends Chris Mack and Lauren, we did that with a couple of people last year. It was a
Awesome.
small group, like 6 7 people, maybe a few more, maybe it was 8 or 9, I forget. We
Nice.
did that at the final night last year, and it was nice. It was very nice.
Awesome,
This
bro.
year we were like, okay, let's expand that a little bit more, and I started asking a few other people if they would be interested. And next thing you know, we had a head count of 19 people, and we did basically like a restaurant takeover. I think they had 2 or 3 tables left, in the restaurant that we went to.
That's awesome.
And it was a blast. Everyone got together. Everyone had a big, family style dinner. It was amazing.
Yeah,
People from LA were talking to people from New Jersey, and, people from Wisconsin were interacting with people from, all over the place. It was absolutely amazing.
that's
And that's something you don't get that a whole lot of places. You
yeah,
don't, you know,
yeah,
and it's something that it's deeply rooted in my heart. It's one of the reasons why I made this comment to you while I was down there. I said, listen, I have 2 kidneys. I only need one. Even if I have to sell the other one to make it down there one year, I will do that,
yeah,
because this is like me going to visit family, and that's something I don't want to miss out
bro.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome.
that's what we do. Like we come from, we understand artists, and after being so many years working in the music industry, like the guy that writes a song, the composer, the guy that produces a beat or the music or the melody or whatever, is the same as you guys. Same way. You just have to understand how you guys, what you feel, the environment that helps you create. And we just try to provide that for you, for the artist. At the end of the day, is how can we serve you as a community? And if I can provide the best experience and service to you guys, if I can do that with my team, obviously, we're going to be in a good position to always have you coming back to Puerto Rico, and the impact that this convention have on the island is very important for the economy, because you guys come, you stay in hotels or Airbnbs, you rent cars, you go to restaurants, you go, you know what I'm saying? Like it helps the community. So we look at it not just as a company project, but we look at it as a Puerto Rico project, and that's the way we look at it. And as long as we can, we're gonna try to give you the best experience ever. We have a couple of ideas for next year, but that's our goal. We want you guys to feel the best in Puerto Rico. We just want you to have the best time of your life here.
Yeah. Well, I think you've succeeded in that.
Thank you, man.
But let's get back to a couple other questions that I had.
Hmm.
Knowing that Sparkov Entertainment organizes and hosts live media, live music events, a lot of these great productions,
Hmm.
how has that impacted the way that you present the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention?
Our background, since we produce shows, and not just music shows, but we've produced like exotic car races show. We've produced uh, theatrical shows, we produce concerts, and different type of events. You, at the end of the day, it's about serving the community. Okay, so I have two communities in the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention. One is the artist and all these people from all these places, and the local people that goes to get a tattoo with one of you guys. So I have to think of both. So when I first started, what I said to Yalsi, I want to create the marketing very inclusive. And by that, what I mean is like usually, I'm not saying every all the time, but usually tattoo conventions are have this very for, and I'm talking for the masses, very let's say gross type of art. I don't know how to explain it. Uh, that people, if people are not in the industry, they are not understanding why it looks like that. You know what I'm saying? So I said to y'all, see, from day one, I said, let me don't get into the communication. Let me handle that part. It's gonna be clean. It's gonna have very everything very like super in your face in terms of date, in terms of where, and also like a very clean. If you see all of our conventions and the artwork and the communication, it's all even or black or white and nothing more than just an image of or a photo of Yalsi or Savannah Fox or Shavana. Very simple. I keep it simple, and that I learned that working in concerts with a lot of brands and beer brands. They just keep it simple so the communication flows. You know, we didn't charge all the artwork with all these elements that most conventions have. I have nothing against it. It's just if we want to bring more people, let's say a woman who's thinking of doing her first tattoo, I don't want her to be afraid of going. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I have to be to present the convention in a way that she feels okay. I'm going. Let me see if I get my first tattoo there. So it cannot be like something that she feels like I don't know. I think it's very hardcore for me. So I have to create it in a way that it's inclusive. That was one number one. Number two was that when I start studying when Yasi approached me and Joel, I started looking at all the conventions, like the big ones, and I noticed something that I didn't like as a spectator, and it was that the stage was usually on one end of the convention. So I was thinking as an artist, I said, if I'm an artist and I'm at the opposite side, I'm going to feel left and way behind, and all the action is at the stage, which is across the convention of the room. And I was like, I said, I told y'all, see, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna do the station in the center, and I'm gonna make every artist feel they're close to the epicenter of the contest of everything. So at first they were like, no, man, nobody does that. That doesn't exist. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And then when they saw like a rendering, like they have a chance to look at it, they were like, oh shit, this look amazing. So that's been one of our trademark. We put the stage in the middle of the room, so everybody feels close to the action. Not everybody feels like left behind. So we obviously add some audio visuals to it, like in a 360 way. So if the sponsors, you no matter where you are at the room, you can look at the screen and you can see who's the sponsor, what's going on. Next year we're gonna do more of the broadcast. We're gonna all the contests. We're gonna record everything and share it on screen so everybody can have a look if you are getting a tattoo. So we're adding some of the things that helps a lot in terms of the experience of the visitor and the artist.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. I have to say, like, so having worked at shows for many years, having attended shows for many years, the layout that you guys came out with, that to me was one of the first things I noticed the first year that I ever worked there.
Yeah.
It felt very inclusive and it felt very centered around,
Yeah.
okay, here's this stage right in the middle of everything. And it's a round stage. It's not just a little couple of tables someone put together as a platform for people to walk up on.
Yeah.
It was very well done and it was very centric, but it also maintained that feeling of like equality because it is a round stage. There
Yeah.
are no edges, there are no ends, there is no platform. It's
Yeah.
just this wonderful round stage with these screens around it so that, if you're an artist and you're working, even in the middle of an aisle or all the way at the end of an aisle,
Because
all you have to do is look up and look towards the stage and you can see what's going on there. And it's amazing to be able to
yeah.
see that and
Yeah.
not miss out on anything. Because I myself have worked at shows before where it's like, oh man, I really wanted to go up and see, the tattoo of the day contest, see what pieces were entered and see what was going on there. But for me to get there, number one, I would have to walk like a quarter mile through the convention hall to get there, up and down 12 different aisles and rows. I'd have
Yeah.
to fight past 13,000 people to get to the stage just to see what was being done. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want to do that this year. I'll see it on the highlights on social media or whatever. But with this, man, you're right there. You
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't miss it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that portion about it is that it is very centered on this central stage
Mhm.
where all you have to do is look. It's
Yes.
wonderful layout. I really wish other shows out there in the world kind of adopted that methodology and that mindset. Because I really do think it would be a lot more inclusive.
Yeah.
But that's, my own personal opinion. People have ways that they like to do things, and there's nothing knocking that. But
Yeah.
um,
And we respect that. We just want to
yeah,
bring something different to the market, and that our live shows in terms of music helped us in developing that concept. Because we've been through so many things in live shows and music shows that, and we learn, and at the end of the day, it's about the experience that the artists have and also what the fans have. So we said like this could be like the best idea that we have. This could be like our trademark from a marketing standpoint because it's very inclusive and I think it has worked very well. It's challenging because, for example, the sound, the convention center, you're against all the walls and the sound it's a wave and it rebounds. But those are the challenges that you have to overcome
right.
while producing the shows. But at the same time, it's what drives us. We always want to create something new for the artists, and how can we provide value to them? For example, this year we blessings. This
Thank you.
year we dedicated to the woman. Yasi came to us at the beginning of the year, say, "Man, we have to do something for women." And I say, "Okay, let's do a panel. Let's share their experiences." There's a lot of people who were before all these young guns nowadays, and let's hear them. So Yasi called John Carmine. John Carmine start talking to all these women, and suddenly we have the first ever in the world panel of these women who have been like the pioneers of tattooing in the globe, and they were there
Yeah.
first time in the spotlight, center stage, and they couldn't be more happy that we at the Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention decided to honor them, and for us that was super special. Back then, a few years back, I remember we brought Lyle Tuttle, and he came to our convention. He was there. We have pictures with him. Then the next year, he passed away,
Yeah.
and then we honor him. We put a video, not just him, but a couple of OGs that were before us. And I have to give credit to Yalsi. He's the one that he knows the culture. He respects the whole world of tattoo artists, and he's the one who really understands uh, what we could do to provide value for the culture, and we talk a lot about it, and then we decide what we're gonna do, and then we just make it happen.
Right. That's awesome. So knowing that the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention is a smaller show by comparison,
Hmm.
I've been to shows. I know the Philadelphia convention's coming up, and that's completely sold out. And the last count was that there were 1,285 artists and vendors.
Crazy.
Yeah, working at that show this year, and that is huge by comparison.
No,
Um,
I know. I can.
but so did you have any thoughts about expanding it, or were you trying to keep it, very small, very exclusive? What's because you have the opportunity, the
Yeah,
demand is there. I
yeah,
know plenty of people that want to work at Puerto Rico,
yeah.
but a lot of it comes down to, oh well, I sent them an email and they were like, oh, you know what, we don't really have the room this year. Let How about you reach out to us next year? And it's like, oh well, I couldn't make it this year, and it's like, oh, that stinks. But the demand is there.
Yeah, yeah.
um
We receive, man. We receive like I don't know how many emails or DMs. If we want, we can sell 800 booths like easily. But here's the thing: when we started this convention, we have a couple of let's say of how can I say principles. I don't know if that's the word, but
okay.
number one, we just want high quality artists. That's important to us. Second, we want to have great people in terms of personal values. You can be like a great artist, but you can be an asshole as a person, or vice versa. You can be an asshole. Like we're not saying everybody that write a DM to us, we know them. That's not the fact. There's a couple of layers that we in the process before we select. One is you have to be like a good artist. It goes through the committee. Even though you can pay, we just say no, I don't pay. Let's send us your Instagram or your portfolio. We'll check it out. If the board says they are good, we can have them because the quality is right there. Okay, let's accept them. Then people pay. That's one thing. Another thing is because we're an island, we want everybody to at least work. You know what I'm saying? Uh, if I have, let's say, the double the size that we have, I don't know how many people will be working because
Yeah.
we are an island. We don't have the same foot traffic as Philly. We don't have the
Right.
same,
Right.
for example, New York. In that area, in that territory, you have 12 million people. Like Puerto Rico, the whole island is 3.4. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that.
Yeah.
LA, obviously, So those are facts that we take into consideration before deciding to open it to more artists. Not because we don't want to, it's because we want, as I mentioned before, we want to that every artist that comes to Puerto Rico have a good experience. I'm not saying that you're gonna be making a lot of money. Some artists do because they do. Others do okay. Others might not be break even, but they do a lot of other things: networking, connecting with key people, learning about techniques. For example, I was talking to Papito, who is a 30-year veteran artist, one of the top in Puerto Rico, and he was telling me that James Tex passed by his booth, and they know each other, and he's watching. James is watching Papito doing something, and James said, "Man, if you do like if you press this button to that machine and you take it into like a little bit up, I don't know, something like that, you can do X, Y, Z." And Papito, who's a 30-year-old veteran, was like, "Dude, I just learned something from James. Like,
Yeah.
I started doing it, and I was like, oh, shit, I didn't
Right.
know this." So that kind of things. What's the price of it? It doesn't have any price. it's priceless. So that's what happened when you come to Puerto Rico for our convention. And that's what we want everybody to have. And not just that, the welcome party, everybody's open, or the after party, everybody's like knowing each other, contacting, doing collabs. I've heard people that start doing things together. They plan to go to another trip together, and they all learn from each other. So I think, man, we don't grow more the booth, the booth that we have, because we rather have it that way, and we want to make always our convention aspirational. We want you to always want to come, and once you get in, you get in. That's the part that, if you're not ready and you don't send the papers, you're going to be out. That's
Yep.
a fact. You're going to be out. There's a whole bunch of people trying to get into. So, well, and
Oh, I trust me, man. I'm well aware, dude.
yeah,
I'll send you my paperwork for next year tomorrow. Don't worry
yeah,
about that. Like, that's if that's what you need, I will send it. If
I
that's what
know.
I have to do, and I know
And
great artists that didn't come this year because they
you
didn't
said,
get their stuff in on time. And
that's-
phenomenal people, great artists, but they lost track of time.
and
And
give
you make it a
chats,
priority.
and we say, okay, you're in, send the papers. Then some people, they don't, and then they're out, and then they get mad. Oh, I say yes, but we send back to you all what you need to send us, and you never answer, and I have like 500 people waiting. Great as you, you know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Another thing that we do, like when the recommendation comes from one of the artists that have been in our convention, we look at it obviously, because we know the artists that we have and the quality, and everybody that has been to our convention, they know how we work, and nobody's going to recommend somebody that is not at the level, and that doesn't have the same values that we all have in our convention. So if Jason, you've done it before, and some of your friends have come, and they've been in our convention because you recommend them, you recommended them. So those are like our probably the way we work our convention so far. In terms of growing, uh, we as a company, we are listening to people. I live in LA for a while, and we are looking for opportunities in the States, to be quite honest, but it has to have some elements in it, in terms of where the the need for something like this, that we can be the dominant player, and that we can provide the best experience for the artist. And that's what we're looking for. But we're open to it. We're looking for states, and yeah, we wanna go and try to start doing something. I don't know if it's 2024, hopefully, or 2025 for sure. We're gonna be doing something in the states.
Right on. Right. I can't wait to see what happens with that, man. Of course, I'll be a part of it. I won't miss
Of
that for the
course.
world.
Yeah, man.
Um, as always, if you ever need any help with that, let me
Dude,
know.
for
I'm more than
sure.
happy to help out with whatever I can.
For sure,
Um,
bro.
so let me ask you this, coming from a personal perspective,
Yeah.
what's been your favorite part of the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention? Because
Dude,
you're there. I mean, you don't have too many tattoos, and that's fine. You don't have to enjoy it. Exactly. So you being immersed in this culture, like what's become your favorite part of it?
dude, I've been in Puerto Rico. Like, art is part of our DNA. I don't know how to explain this. Like, music, songs, artists, art by itself is like in our DNA. So to me, it's like like I'm surrounded by the people that I like. I'm a very creative guy, even though I'm more very 50-50. I could say, like, I come from a family who are CPAs and all about numbers, and I'm a business guy. But if you ask me where do I love to spend my time, I love to spend my time in studios, in music, with creative people. That's what I like, and that's what I love. So doing this for me is like being surrounded by art and by creative people. That when you look at these pieces that you guys do in an art, in a bag, dude, to me it's like freaking difficult, and I admire that so much. When you look at a work, you look at, for example, Phoebes. When we do something, it's like, dude, you're an alien. Like, how can you
Yeah.
possibly do this? And that just I'm just mentioning one example. So I admire what you guys do so much, and I'm very humble to at least be around you guys to serve you, because I admire what you guys do, because for me it's so complicated and difficult, and I know for artists it's very difficult what I do, because the business side and all these elements about, whatever it takes to do a show like this, that is a pain in the ass. But for me it's like normal, and people are just like, dude, I don't know how you do this, and I'm like, dude, I just don't know how you do what you do, and I admire what you do. So that perfect mix, it's what drives me, man. I just like people. Our goal as a company, our mission is to promote the unity of the world through live entertainment experiences. That's our mission as a company, to promote the unity of the world. So I can do a tattoo convention, but tomorrow I can do a mountain bike event, because the culture is about, and our mission is to promote the unity of the world. So anything that helps, that we can do to help people get connected between them, and to share knowledge, and to be happy, we're down. You know what I'm saying?
Right
Because
on.
that's our mission. And this is a tattoo convention for us. And I love seeing you guys talk and admire each other. And I'm happy with it. I'm super happy just by looking at you being happy.
Yeah.
That's to be honest, man.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think, your spirit going into this with that mindset,
Yeah,
with that focus on that culture, that it shines through, man, and it really shows in the show, the way it's put on, the type of people that are there. I know if I have any issues, say, I show up and I get set up and I'm missing a table, all I got to do is ask someone, and 10 minutes later I have a table showing up.
whatever you need.
I there's never anything I have to worry about.
Yeah,
And it is that culture. It is that, trying to get everyone together, to come together, to show that unity, to
yeah,
expand everyone's horizons.
yeah.
And it shows. It comes through, not just there at the show, but before the show, after the show. I've
Mhm.
got friends now that are, one of my very good friends, he's from Scotland. I met him at the Puerto Rico show a couple years
Real?
ago,
That's great,
and
bro.
he's like, dude, you have an open invitation. Come up, hang out with me, stay with me, do a guest spot as long as you want. You can come and live with me and my family.
That's
Like,
awesome.
and, this is someone I've kept in contact with, since I met them in Puerto Rico.
That's awesome.
And they had a little bit of a rough go. They mailed some stuff and it got stuck in customs, and they didn't really have anything to really work with that weekend. And I was like, yo, whatever you need, take it. Like, consider my stuff your stuff. Whatever you need, feel free to have it.
That's right.
And we kept in touch, over COVID and over pandemic, and they would do live streams, and I would jump on and I would ask them questions to help them, discuss what they're talking about a bit more, and why are you doing it like this, and why are you using that, and all this other stuff. And then they would do the same to me. And they're actually coming to Philly this year, so I'm going to meet up with them and hang out with them for a little bit.
Great, bro.
But it's like you've succeeded in that goal of uniting the world,
That's what.
because I've met so many people. I can go up, I can call Anthony Tex tomorrow and say, hey man,
Yeah,
can I come up and do a guest spot? And I can go up to Deadly Tattoos and do a guest spot. You
yeah, man.
know, I if it wasn't for the Puerto Rico show, I
Yeah,
would have never made that kind of a solid connection. You
exactly.
know, I can do that with any number of people that I've met there.
Yeah,
Everyone from people out in Denver, LA. I can call Yuki tomorrow and be like, Yuki, I want to come out to Cali.
yeah,
Where can I do a guest spot? And he
yeah.
would get me set up with a guest spot like that.
That's
It's like, and so you've achieved that goal, and you're achieving it more and more every year. Where a lot of these people that work it year after year, that are making these connections year after year, they're just getting closer and closer together,
yeah,
and it really is weaving everyone together like we're a family,
Yeah,
and that is not easy to do. In this industry, you have a lot of different personalities,
yeah,
some of which do not go together.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so,
yeah,
but being able to achieve that with all of the people that you have, dude, that's
yeah,
impressive.
yeah, man. Yeah,
That is no small feat.
no, man. Yeah, yeah. But once people start, when you are transparent and when you are honest, people feel it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, the opposite. When you're not a good person, people feel it. But since day one, as I mentioned, Yalsi and the other guy, I said, I don't know anything about your culture, but I know how to put shows together and I know how to make it work. I know if you listen to me, we're not going to lose any money because it's a high risk project. It's very expensive to put that show together. So I said, if you guys listen to me, we're going to be in a good position. You just let me know what not to do. I need to understand what not to do. So I was humble enough, and we've always been, me, my brother, all of us in my family, which are all involved in the business. We're humble enough to always ask, Yausi, what do you think about this? Man, that doesn't go for this type of convention. Those are like B level, C level conventions that do that. Okay, it's out because we are humble enough to always listen and ask, and then put together what works best. Okay, so man, like when you come with this humbleness and this approach of providing the best service, which we we believe that we are here to serve others. That's in our the way we think. You will never be out of money, out of business if you serve your clients or your demographic the best way. Okay, if you serve them well, you're always going to have a business. Nothing's gonna you will never need anything. You're gonna be fine. So when we since we have that approach from day one, I think it has taken us to our fifth convention, and we're always there, and people think of the conventions, and the international is right there, and that for us is a win. And yeah, man, that's basically what we've tried to do, and we've been able to accomplish. A lot of room to keep growing, but that's the game, bro. That's the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I definitely think you're winning at the game, man. I mean, there's a handful of shows in this world that, so my goal has always been to work at some of these top tier shows, and it still is my goal. You
Hmm,
know,
nice.
for a long time it was the London show, because that to me was like the World Cup of tattooing, right?
Mhm.
The top like 2% of tattooers in the world worked at that show, and I went to that. Forget. I think the first time was 2016 or 17, and I
Okay.
went there, and I just, Phibbs invited me. I met him in Rome that year, and he's like, "Oh, are you coming to London?" And I was like, I mean, I've heard of it, but like, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, just trust me, you want to go to this." And I was like, "All right." So I showed up, and he wasn't working it, but we hung out. He took me around, introduced me to a whole bunch of different people. I ended up booking an appointment with a guy from Canada that weekend, and spent all day Sunday, getting tattooed. It was great. Awesome. But I was walking around and I was like, this, like, you look down one row and you see, legends in the industry like Shige from Japan, and he's tattooing right next to like Mike Rubendahl from New York, and then, oh wait, down the aisle there's Jeff Gogwe, and it's like, these are titans in the industry that, have become so good at what they do. They've become so prominent at what they do that they're looked up to and respected by every artist out there. You turn the corner and there's Steve Butcher working with the Rat Pack and 5 other artists, tattooing one guy's entire back from start to finish in 4 hours.
Crazy,
4 hours, start to finish, full back piece. Like,
crazy.
how is that even? I don't want to know what that guy was doing to survive that, but that was tough. But
Crazy.
that became like the goal for me to work at. That was like, okay, cool. My goal is now I need to make it into this show, you know. And then Fibs was telling me about the Puerto Rico convention. And I was like, oh shit. All right. You know what? Let me talk to a few people. Just see if I can get in. I'm gonna first year I ever worked it, man, I totally thought I was going to get like a rejection letter, like, hey, thanks for applying, but probably need to work on your portfolio a little bit more, maybe hit us up next year or 2-3 years from now. And, we'll see if we can't get you a booth then. And I got the email back that like, hey, I'm good. And I was like, wait, what? How did someone, and I'm pretty sure I sent an email back saying, are you sure I'm good enough to work at this? Like making sure that I met that standard, right? Because I knew it was like London, Paris, Puerto Rico. At that time, Bill Canales had the San Diego Invitational. Like these were like the top tier shows.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the San Diego Invitational is no longer going on. Yeah. London's no longer going on. That got replaced by a different one. Paris is still going on under a different name, but it's kind of started to take on a little bit of a different element and attitude. Yeah. It's still a very good show with a lot of really great respected artists, but it started to take on a little bit of a different environment and atmosphere from what I've been told by people that have been there. So it's like, okay, well, we still have a couple of these Apex shows going on around the world. That's still my goal. Yeah. I've achieved one goal, right? Puerto Rico. That was a goal. Yeah. And that got achieved because I knew that it was like, okay, awesome. Like this is a top tier event. Yeah, this is not your average, hey, the Sunglass Hut opened up a booth down at the corner. Oh, Joe the plumber's got a booth a few aisles over,
Yeah, we're on that list. And we just, that's exactly what we wanted to do. Like, we want people to think, okay, we have the London, we have Paris, we have Puerto Rico. Like, those three, and there's a lot of other conventions, but we just wanted to be in the top of the list in terms of quality, in terms of experience, and that's been our goal. And I think we've so far accomplished it. Like, we're like, yeah, people think of us as a A-level convention, and that's our goal. We just want to be there. We know we're different. I think everybody has their own unique DNA, but I think Puerto Rico has its unique brand and its unique experience, and we're happy with it.
Well, and just circling to something that I touched on before. Having been to the London convention with, the World Cup of tattooing, having been to the Paris show, and having been to a lot of these other very prominent conventions around the world, you still get that little bit of a disconnect from some of the artists and some of the people there where it's like, okay, hey, how's it going? But like, look at what I'm doing. This is my stuff, it doesn't foster the same sense of community, and it doesn't foster that same sense of openness and solidarity between the people that are working at it. Puerto Rico does. And to me, that's like, it's one of the things that I keep coming back to is when I'm there, I'm family, and it doesn't matter who shows up to work at the show that year. That's family, like the people in San Juan, that's family. The artists that I tattooed that are now tattoo artists working at that show that were not when I first tattooed them in Puerto Rico. That's family, right? That to me is like, you don't get that at any other show.
Yeah, man.
It's such a unique experience.
A lot of artists, like one thing that happens a lot in our convention is that a lot of artists travel to Puerto Rico to get a tattoo from another artist. It's very common, more common than we thought about. For example, you have won Best of the Day 2 years in a row. And with
Yeah.
James Anthony Tex did both.
Yep.
Dude, and like you, there's a lot of people that it's like, no, I flew, and these are our requests from the artists, and I'm just being honest.
Yeah. So,
Can I be right next to look at that? Yeah, man.
yeah.
So artists ask us to be right next to the other one, and we just cannot, say yes to everybody. But that type of experience of people getting a tattoo from another artist, but it's another artist, and it's a great artist by the way. It's like it's this great artist is going to tattoo this great artist. It's like that. That to me is like what sets Puerto Rico apart.
It
Like
is.
that type of vibe.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it is. So that was something that another really great artist that I really look up to. He's tattooed me a couple of times. The first year I worked at Puerto Rico, I remember talking to him about the show is, what the show is like. It was my first year there. It was the first day of the show. I was like, dude, give me the knowledge on what is it like to work at this show, because I think this was when I started working at the Puerto Rico convention. I think it was the third year it was going on.
19,
Uh,
18,
I think it was 18.
probably okay.
Um, I'm pretty sure it was 2018. I could be wrong in that though.
Maybe.
But I remember showing up and I was like, what's this like? He's like, dude, this is like where tattooers come to get tattooed by other really great tattooers. Like that's what you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see a lot of booths empty because those artists are going to get tattooed by someone else.
I'm
Like,
okay. That's it. Yeah,
and I was like, oh, it's that kind of show.
that kind of show.
I better bring my A game. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
imagine that. Yeah,
and and that's what it has been consecutively every single year, is
yeah,
that it's better and better artists showing up all the time from all over the world
yeah,
and coming together to celebrate that culture and to
yeah,
learn from each other and to see each other, to get tattooed by each other, and to go through and talk and foster this sense of community. And that's, I keep saying, it's something you don't see everywhere. You don't see it every day at every show.
yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I will always be coming back,
I agree.
because as much as I have a little bit of that fear of missing out, I know that if I didn't work it one year, it would just crush me. Like
Now,
it would put me down so much.
for the
Like,
family now. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
exactly. Like even the Philly show. So I'm not working Philly this year. I couldn't get a booth in time. Everything sold out. I'm
Yeah,
like, all right. I'll work it next year. Not a big deal. Like I'm not missing out on anything. I'm not super concerned about. If that
yeah.
was Puerto Rico,
You'd
I'd be
be,
I'd be devastated, man. I would
yeah,
actually send out apology emails to everyone that I know saying, listen, I know you guys are working at this show. I'm really, really, really sorry. I'm not, I missed the deadline. I dropped the ball and I'm sorry about that. I wouldn't do that with Philly. If I don't work Philly, I don't work Philly. And,
this is
eh,
family.
but this is family. Like and that's something that I've adopted that kind of sense of responsibility for, you
Yeah, man.
know?
Yeah. And another
So
thing that we like, for example, like it's been like that since day one. That our communication with artists is so open that I always tell the artists that, dude, if you have any suggestion about what we can improve or if something wrong, let me know. So this year, for example, Shane Anderson, he came to me and say, Rafa, come here. Dude, it's so cold. And I'm like, dude, don't worry. I'll talk to the manager now of the venue. I'm gonna lower the temperature, higher the temperature. So I did it because Shan has like he knows that I'm open to that
right.
kind of honesty, because that's what we are there for. So he came to me. He said, "Yo, Hafo, it's so freaking cold. Can you help us out?" Yeah, for sure, man. I'll do it right now. So that's something that we do, and Fibs, Hafo, you need to better this, blah 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 blah. So I always have a meeting with Fibs at the end of each convention, or with y'all, so everybody. So we need to better this, better this. So that's the way we do it. We are open to suggestions to create the best experience and provide the best experience for the artist. And we're not like mad if you tell us like, and we have this recommendation for next year. We're open to it because at the end of the day, that's how we all grow. That's
Right.
how we provide the best experience to our clients, to our artists. So we're open to it. And I know that not everybody that produces shows like this have the same mentality.
Right.
And well, everybody handles their business the way they want to. This is our way of doing business. We are here for the artist. If you want to tell me something for the better, I'm going to listen to you. Same thing with Seth that we met. Same thing with James, Anthony, Bill, whoever it is. We're going to listen and we're going to take note. That's how we work. We're here for you. We're here to serve you, not to serve us. It's for you. That's it, man.
It's it's refreshing to hear that from someone that puts on such a great show. Um, you know, I've met a few people that have put on shows before, and a lot of them are like, well, that's just kind of the way that this show is.
Yeah,
If you're looking for something else, maybe you should look at a different show because that's just kind of the way that we run things. And it's like, well,
yeah,
okay, then I will, and
yeah.
if you're telling me to go somewhere else and look somewhere else, I will. That's fine.
Imagine that.
And it's like, okay, well, then that one's out. Next. But you guys, you're very open, you're very receptive. You're
Yeah,
willing to listen to a lot of different stuff and you're willing to go through and make adjustments, even if it's on the fly. And
yeah,
that's awesome. And that's
yeah,
something that really separates out the International Puerto Rico Tattoo Convention from a
yeah,
lot of other shows. You guys care and it comes through.
yeah. 100%, bro.
So
We care about you guys. At the end of the day, it's all about serving the community. It's all about serving you the best way we can. It's all about you being happy, that you learn, that you share knowledge, that you receive knowledge. At the end of the day, that's what we recognize you guys. Like that's why we do all these contests. We recognize everybody that spend time doing things, and that's why we always bring different judges from around the world, because we don't want anybody to say, oh, they are biased or they are. No, this contest might be judged by a guy from Canada, a guy from New Zealand, a guy from Australia. So if the same people wins, well, it's not because we're biased. It's because the art is there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's all about the art, man. It's all about the art, and it's all about from in our perspective, it's about serving you guys the best way we can. Simple
Right
as
on.
that.
Thank you so much for joining me today. We're getting to that point in time where we're going to start wrapping some stuff up. Um, Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I can't appreciate it anymore. You absolutely rock, man. Um, I'd love to get you back on again, maybe a couple more times throughout the year.
Yeah, bro.
Just see
Hit me up.
what's going on and see what you got. Just catch up with you a little bit.
Hit me up.
I'm really looking forward to next year, man. I can't wait. I know it's going to be just as amazing, if not better than this year.
It
So
will.
I can't thank you enough for
It
putting
will.
on such an amazing show.
It will be better. Trust me. We are in conversations about doing a couple of things. We want people to enjoy the contest more. We have a couple of ideas, and we want to not just the people who are there at the convention, but we want the world to see what's going on across the globe. And we're in conversation of making sure that we can deliver that content and that value to the market. And we're gonna always keep improving and investing in the experience. And we just want to. I just personally want to say thank you to you because you are that type of a guy that I always look that say, okay, everything's gonna be fine. I don't know why. Like I like you being in Puerto Rico each and every year because you bring this energy. It's very alike and it's very similar to our spirit, and you have the our convention is yours, and And thank you for always coming with the same vibe and for always sharing what we do to your friends and to your community. And see you next year, bro.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for jumping on today. Always appreciated.
Thank
If
you, man.
people want to reach out to you and talk to you about Puerto Rico or anything else that you're involved in, how would they go about doing that?
Well, if you want to go into the Puerto Rico convention, if you want to come, you can DM us. Look for us on Instagram. It's PR. It's Puerto Rico underscore tattoo underscore convention. Okay, that's our Instagram. You can DM. Probably my brother's gonna take a look at it or answer you, Leroy. He handles all the permits and he's the one who deals with the health department of Puerto Rico. Um, so that's one part. If you want to have more information about our convention, you can log on to prtattooconvention.com and you can just check our website. And yeah, man, we wanna see what you guys are made of. Send us your stuff, your portfolio, your Instagram, and let's keep raising the bar.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, man.
For anyone out there that has questions, comments, concerns for me, it's very easy. Just go ahead and take a look. You can send me a DM right here on Instagram. You can also email me, Jason at reinventingthetattoo.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful day. And, until next year.
Peace.
Take care.
Take care, man.